Okay. Woo! All right. Hello, everybody. Greetings, web spinners. Welcome to your friendly neighborhood online open mic night experience, courtesy of your friendly neighborhood performers. I'm your delighted host, Brittany Cohen. I am so happy to be back sharing love through the screen with you all. We have an amazing lineup tonight, which I'll bring out to you shortly. But first, I want to pay a special mention to my dear friend, my tech guy in the sky, Jonathan Matos. As you might know, when we were doing Pandemic Passion and Poetry online open mics, Jonathan was my tech guy and also a frequent performer. After he passed, I decided to bring this on back and dedicate it to him. He was a big fan of Spider-Man, so there's going to be a lot of real dorky, great Spider-Man references, as you can already tell from our new title. Jonathan, without you, I wouldn't have had Pandemic Passion and Poetry, and I wouldn't be here now. I dedicate your friendly neighborhood performers online open mic night experience to you, Jonathan, my superhero. May your special way with words and your technical expertise guide us all tonight. I love you, Jonathan. As you all know, I began these open mics as a way to come together to support those struggling from COVID-19. However, with the state of the world now, I've got greater responsibilities at hand. So now I open up these open mics to all causes concerning COVID-19, children in need, the Black Lives Matter movement, the LGBTQ community, and causes in which Jonathan Matos was passionate. I have a ton of GoFundMe pages on my Facebook event page for you all to check out and donate to if you're able. Now, without further ado, I present to you our show. Thank you all for being here. It means a lot that you're tuning in. If you are tuning in and you want to let me know you're here, I have my Facebook Messenger open. Actually, give me a second. I'm just going to bring it up on my phone so you don't hear that weird little dinging noise. If you can hear that. Okay. Yeah, so throughout the night, if you want a shout out, if you want to tell me you're here, shoot me a message, shoot me a text or something, let me know you're here and I'll give you a shout out. That'll be happening all night. What will also be happening all night is all of our GoFundMe pages. They're right there up on the event page, and you'll be able to see them and donate where you can. Even if you just share the page and say, hey guys, check this out, it means a lot. We're all here, we're together. We have the great responsibility to change the world with love and warm moments. I'm so happy that you guys are here. So to start off our show, I actually want to read a poem that I wrote when I was going into planning these open mics again. As I had mentioned, my dear friend Jonathan was kind of behind all of the tech stuff. So throughout the night, you might see some little blips and blurps and things with me trying to figure out all this. But in the planning of all of this, I was thinking back on the previous open mics where I had Jonathan counting me down before we went live. He would say, whenever you're ready. We're not going to go live until you're ready. 3, 2, 1, going live. And I was thinking about how different it would be now that I don't have him here to do that, and processing that, but also thinking about how beautiful it is that I still have him here in spirit. And so I wrote this poem for him. This is called Whenever You're Ready. 3, 2, 1, I'll count down on my own, realizing I have to do this alone. I used to have you to keep me strong as I introduced every story in strong and song. 3, 2, 1, I'll count down by myself while your words lay upon a shelf. I used to have you to share my success, to keep the show going amongst all the mess. 3, 2, 1, I'll count down to go live for what could have been our week 5 of saving the world, one screen at a time, through charity music and nice rhymes. 3, 2, 1, I'll count down with a smile, knowing you were here, but for a while, keeping you close and spreading your light as I carry you near the next open mic night. Thank you, Jonathan. Interesting thing, though, I have chills. The interesting thing about that, though, is that I'm not alone tonight. I have you guys, and I have my wonderful performers. And I have dear friends who have been reminding me to breathe every 5 seconds as I've told them to, and who have been helping me count down and helping me get here to you guys. And I'm so excited to introduce them. They're wonderful. I wouldn't be here without them, and I'm ready to introduce them in a minute. But as far as our GoFundMe pages, speaking of Jonathan, there's 2 really important GoFundMe pages on the event page on Facebook. One is from Bethel Chapel Church. Jonathan was really passionate about getting Bethel Chapel Church to be handicapped accessible. So if you donate to that, you can help fund that and make that happen. There's also a page for Shriners Hospital, who gave him the medical attention that he needed when he was a child. And he wanted to pay back by looking out for the children now that are at that hospital needing medical attention. So there's a GoFundMe page on there just for that. So please go ahead and check that out. Now, without further ado, I'm going to I want to introduce to you my first friendly neighborhood performer, Kyle Nelson. Now, Kyle, hang on.
Hey.
Kyle's a dear friend of mine. He's a repeat performer, which he's been in our previous open mics, and I'm so glad to have him back. Since the last time we saw him, he came out with a new album called Pilots in Reverse, which is amazing. I'm really super proud of him. It's an incredible album. It's full of passion and overtones of Kyle's favorite artists. I'm like, wait, I know this. I hear this. I know the influence, and it's beautiful. And I'm so excited to bring out Kyle now to perform some music for you. We also have something new happening in our lineup. Along with our musical performances, I want to introduce. We're going to have some beautiful visuals, and I'm going to bring her up in a minute. Nikki Thelma is going to be doing art while our musical performances are going live. So I'm going to be bringing her up, and take it away, Nikki and Kyle.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Kyle, and I am very blessed and happy to be here for another open mic night, poetry night. A lot of awesome, talented people we have here tonight. And thank you, Brittany, for continuing this. Jonathan is definitely proud of you for sure, and we all miss him. So this song is called Flightless Dragonfly, and this is a song about waking up in the morning and it's raining and you just can't get the day started and you're just kind of floating through the day. So I wrote a song about it. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Hello, sunrise, somebody new. It's kind of hard to take off again this day. Harder to explain, past this time alone. Oh, searching always, gazing into your eyes, blinding those that jump into the sides. I tried accepting your faded views, the river's edge it never lies, breaking news into the storm. There are us in this race, nowhere to go in this rain. I can't remember your name. You can't fly, it's insane. Say, you're all lost in this rain. Nowhere to go in this rain. I can't remember your name. Can't remember your name. Yeah. Can't remember your name. Can't remember your name. Can't remember your name. Yeah. Can't remember your name. Your name. Your name. Can't remember your name. But we do remember Jonathan's name. Thank you guys. That's it.
All right, that was awesome. Woo! Everybody give it up for Kyle. Kyle, thank you so much. Again, check out his new album, Pilots in Reverse. It's fantastic. Hey, Nikki, I was wondering, could you tell us a little bit, you're new to the lineup, and this is a new experience for us all. Could you tell us a little bit about what you're working on over there?
So actually what I'm working on is a portrait of my badass friend. Here's my reference photo. She is a mother, an awesome friend, and also working in a charter school at the executive level. So, you know, in her abundant spare time, she's learning archery. So she sent us that photo, and I'm working on a portrait of her as the full badass she is in armor, on a slain dragon. And the title of this portrait is Who's Next? Because that's just the way she handles life.
Who's next? Ready to take on any challenge. I love that.
So at some point after I finish the head, she'll be standing basically on the dragon's neck. Like, this one's done. Who's next?
I love that. And isn't that a great, it's a really great metaphor for today. We're all just kind of battling our dragons. And we're like, what's next, 2020? We got this. Bring it on. That's awesome. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much. I'm excited to see. So Nikki is doing kind of like a progress over time. So we're going to see how her art progresses over time throughout the night. So whenever you see a musical performer, you'll see Nikki. And I'm so happy to have you here. And I look forward to bringing you back in a few minutes.
Thanks, guys.
Sure. Give it up for Nikki. Woo! So before we bring on our next performer, I have some shout outs coming in already. This is great. Okay, let's see. I have my dad and his cat named Sally. Hi, Dad. Shout out to you guys. My dear friend Dan Torres. Hi, Dan. My lovely boyfriend Alex is watching. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Shira is here. I love you too, Shira. And Jonathan Matos' sister Melissa is here watching. Melissa, I'm so glad you're here. It means the world. Much love to you. So we're going to keep on going. Again, if you could check out the event pages, there's the Great Performance Art. There's a GoFundMe page. Excuse me. There's a GoFundMe page that's called Philadelphia Performance Arts Fund, which goes towards funding performance artists in Philadelphia, giving them support and opportunities to have what they need at a time where they really can't get their craft out there. So go ahead and check that out. Okay. So the next person that I want to bring up, I'm going to bring him up in a minute, is our next friendly neighborhood performer is Ryan Neat. I'm going to bring him up, but just hold on a second. There's, talking about support and friendship during quarantine. Ryan is all of that. There's so many things I can say about Ryan. But one thing I can say is that he signifies what we all need to be right now. Loving, caring, loyal, understanding, and validating. He's made this quarantine manageable. Leading and everything leading up to the night, he's made all my nervousness go away. And I'm so honored to bring him up to the stage. My super best friend, Ryan Neat. Everybody give it up for Ryan. Woo!
Wow. I'm not crying, you're crying. All right. The first story I have for you guys today was inspired by a day of yard work. I made a new friend that day, and this is my day in his perspective. It's called The Giant. I live at the base of an ancient catalpa tree, in the front of a little yellow house almost as old. My eyes flicker open as the pale rays of dawn beam across the entrance of my den. Nose twitching rapidly, I take in the sense of the day. My heart skips a beat. The giant is awake earlier than normal. I peek out the entrance to see him, sitting on the steps of his huge yellow den. He's smiling, chattering into a little black box. The conversation incomprehensible, his tone is soft and gentle. Breakfast clearly not on his mind, I dart away to begin the day's activities. I scramble up the next tree, a sweet gum. Bouncing out to the end of a limb, I nibble at a meal of tree buds. With my stomach full, I turn my attention to the real task at hand. The other critters in the yard call me the wise one. I'm the oldest one here. I've survived almost 10 winters. My old age may have allowed me to pick up a trick or two, but I'm certainly no enlightened guru. The birds have always seemed smarter than me, traveling the world and whatnot. Every spring, it's like they've picked up a new language. Some of our community are permanent residents, like the groundhog under the shed. but most simply come and go, taking the opportunity to feast on their plant of choice or one another. Most prefer to take refuge in the small pocket of forest nearby, but I've enjoyed living among the giants. For most of my life, the yard's been peaceful. I begin my work for the summer. Patrolling the neighborhood, I grab any nut, seed, or acorn I can find. The system's all worked out in my head. I have little spots all over the neighborhood where I stash these for the winter. Quickly making it to the base of a red oak, I uncover one of the stashes, burying an acorn. It's mostly been quiet this spring. For whatever reason, the giants went into some kind of hibernation right at the start of it. They entered their dens all at once, rarely if ever leaving. On the rare occasion they did venture out, their faces were covered with some sort of garment. As a result, business for us critters has been bustling. I've had to defend my stashes way more often than normal. The decennials are so goddamn entitled. Back in my day, our kind would work hard, stashing nuts and seeds in the honest, traditional way. Now they would rather steal from the giants' gardens or the stashes of their elders. 8 successful springs and 9 winters luckily gives me the ability not only to defend my stashes, but prevent them from ever being found. I've got thousands all over here and know exactly where each one is. As I skitter across the long black vines connecting the leafless lining trees, I can see the giant in the backyard. He aggressively whacks at the ground with a gray and black tool. With each whack, the spiky brown balls dropped by the gum trees fly toward a pile he's been gathering. The leaf litter that once covered the front of his house are gone. One of the older, more reasonable dogs in my turf once told me the giants use my kind as a way to call someone nervous. Watching this giant, I can't understand why they would think I'm anxious. Nothing on earth has a bigger need for control than the giants. No matter what, the gum trees will drop their fruit. Yet every spring he's out there, collecting them in big blue and white bins for other giants to take away. I continue my rounds, gathering and stashing my food for another winter. As the sun reaches its zenith, I make my way to my favorite place. Climbing up the iron pole, I jump to grab the ledge, pulling myself up to reap my reward. I gorge on the trough of seeds the giant put out for birds. The cardinals especially think I'm rude, but I've been working hard today. I've clearly earned it. As I make my way back to my den, I stop, frozen in fear. Propped against my tree is the giant, resting from his labors. He's sucking a small, black object in his hand. Spotting me, he stops sucking and smiles as smoke emanates from his mouth. My neighbors say this giant is a kinder and gentler giant. He's more than willing to allow you to go about your business as long as you don't go in his garden. He may even smile, try to say hello, give you a nut if you're worthy. Spiders even brag they're allowed to live in his den, rent-free. Once I even met a jumping spider that claimed this giant taught her how to say hello in their language. I don't believe it, and I don't trust it. He looks different than most, more dangerous. His hair sprouts wildly out of his head like creeping yellow vines. The spirit of an Arctic predator emanates from his piercing blue eyes. He even has fur on his face. Taking the safe route, I dash up the red oak behind the house, watching him from a distance. For a while longer, he continues to work, but something's wrong with this giant. Clutching his hip and tired from his tedious projects, he limps towards his resting place, sitting down and groaning. Uncovering a plate, he eats intentionally to music from a tiny black box. The danger past, I skitter down the tree as the world darkens into dusk. I see the giant too climb up the stairs and enter his den, ready to rest once more. My whole life has been peaceful. And while he can be a nuisance, I'm happy to finally see the giant again. So that was my short story. I just have a brief poem to end my bit. Quarantine has been rough on all of us, and there was certainly a point for me where I got very introspective and in my head, and I started thinking back to a time where I could always calm down. So this is a poem about that time. It's called Traumatized Lullabies. Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. As you sing the words, I don't know what you mean. I've never gone back home yet, only to a new one. Who knew what home was something you could return to? Sleep, little darling, do not cry, and I will sing you a lullaby. You don't notice, but I tense up as you say those words. Do not cry. You mean it as comfort, that it is safe for me here. But I can't help but think back to when it meant at 4 years old, I had to be a man. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Since before you were mama, my presents came from you. Hanukkah, birthday, whatever the occasion. You made sure I had presents, while they made sure they had drugs. I think back often to these lullabies, these songs that sent me to an uneasy sleep, full of vivid nightmares of the past and manifestations of a child's anxiety. The young Southern boy that grew up with me told me you brag about me. Tell me how proud you are, how strong I am. There are many days I don't feel like the son you brag about. There are many days I don't feel worthy of your adoption, love, help, care. All the things that earned you the titles mom and dad. There are many days I don't see an out and think the cessation of my existence would be easier for all of us. But when I see no other way, when the darkness envelops me, when my little voice begins to berate me, I can always close my eyes, breathe in deep, and think back to the days that the pipes would call from glen to glen as I was tucked in. Thank you, guys.
All right, give it up for Ryan. Woo! Ryan, that was beautiful. I can't thank you enough for being here. Your words are always so touching and wonderful. You and like everybody here tonight is worthy of so much. You're all so special and wonderful to me. Thank you so much, Ryan. Give it up for Ryan for sharing those beautiful words and sharing his wonderful heart with us. Love you, Ryan. So I always call Ryan the friendly, the big friendly giant. And in his story, he was talking about this giant, and he's around nature and animals. And while Ryan was performing, my dear boyfriend Alex sent me a picture of our hamster daughter. Anyone who's on Facebook has seen our hamster daughter Jenny, and I thought there was such a sweet connection there. Since Ryan's all about small animals and nature, and I want to bring to you my I want to give a shout out to my dear little hamster daughter Jenny. In times of quarantine where you're stuck inside all day, it's really nice to have a little emotional support pet to guide you and lift your spirits. So thanks, Jenny. And thank you again, Ryan. Ryan is a strong advocate for the LGBTQ community, and he's extremely validating in that way. And I want to promote, in connection to that, I want to promote this really great project that I recently learned about. So another great thing that you can do over quarantine is you can work out over video chat with friends and family. So I've been doing that lately with my sister Dawn, and we've been working out to these dance videos to this guy, the Fitness Marshal. If you haven't seen him, look him up. He's fantastic. He's been doing live streams of his workouts, and the last one we watched, he promoted the It Gets Better project, and it supports funding and all kinds of good things for the LGBTQ community. So it's right up on the Facebook event page, and if you need the link, if you need any of these links, reach out to me and I can send them to you to donate or to just share. The It Gets Better project, check it out. It's for the LGBTQ community. Thanks. All right. So the next friendly neighborhood performer that I want to bring up, I'm going to bring her up in a minute, is the lovely Sundari Birdsall. Now, those of you who have watched the Pandemic Passion and Poetry open mics, you might remember her from the violin kazoo duo Ilan Dari. My favorite violin kazoo duo. And she's here with us. She's swinging on by tonight for a solo act, and she's got some beautiful violin for us. And I'm also going to bring back up Nikki Palma, who is going to show us some beautiful art while Sundari is performing. So I will let you guys take it away. Everybody give it up for Sundari and Nikki. Yay! All right, guys.
Thank you. And thank
The
you,
synchronizing
Ryan.
is hard, and yeah.
Yeah. No, Nikki is looking beautiful. It's
Thank
looking
you.
strong and fierce.
I love
Maybe,
So you're gonna help inspire whatever I draw next on here.
so I'm here to inspire some tenderness. I've got two pieces of violin music. One is accompanied by piano, which I will play on my Bluetooth speaker. And the other is solo. It's music for a funeral, and it is in memory of Jonathan. So we'll begin with violin piano. And I would appreciate feedback in the chat if the sound is not good, because I'll try to troubleshoot. Okay, here we go. This is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata with violin and piano. Thank you. So that was the Beethoven Moonlight Sonata with Ilana live audience.
I love it. Hey. Oh my god. Wow. Everyone, give it up for Sundari and Nikki. Give it up.
Thanks. And I wanted to play one other piece for Jonathan.
Okay.
If there's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Take it away. Go for it. You're doing great.
I got one more, and this is for in memory of Jonathan. This is some music for a funeral. It's an amazing grace medley with some Christian songs that you might recognize. Blessings to Jonathan. All set. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Sundari. And Nikki, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Let's see what you got. Very cool. Oh, I see a lot more detail in there now. She looks like she's ready to. Is that a dragon? Is that a?
I've never realized how architectural a dragon scales are. And I've never drawn a dragon before, and I feel like I'm fitting stones together. So I'm hanging out in the dragon's face for the next bit of time, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. I can't wait to see how this progresses. Thank you guys so much. Give it up for Sundari and Nikki. Woo! So many. First of all, Sundari, thank you for that. When I had reached out to performers and I said, hey, I want to bring back these open mics in honor of Jonathan, they were all for it. Few knew him very long, but we're all on board in doing this in honor of him. And that was so beautiful. Thank you for that lovely tribute. Another thing that I want to say is I'm noticing really beautiful things happening. Just this whole idea of, being friendly neighbors with each other, helping each other out. I was like, guys, remind me to breathe. Help me out. But you guys are helping each other too. Like Sundari was doing her thing and she said, let me know if you can hear me. And Nikki gave her a little thumbs up. And I love seeing you guys work together like that. I'm really, really proud of all of you. I'm going to say that 1,000 times and I don't care. I'm so proud of you guys for working together and loving each other, even though you just met. It's amazing. And I love that we can all be together like this. Those of you that are watching and those of you who are performing, all coming together to just love each other right now, because that's what the world needs. Speaking of loving each other and loving creatures great and small, there was Sundari, I don't know if this happens quite frequently, but you had a lot of cats that were touched by your performance. My sister Dawn's cat, Kurt, was making biscuits while you were playing, and Nikki said her cats were playing around, and Kyle, I think you mentioned yours. There were a lot of cats that were really in tune with what you were playing. I think that's really adorable. So good job reaching creatures great and small. Give it up for Sundari. Speaking of reaching people, please feel free to check out the GoFundMe pages. We have so many great things out there. We have a page that you can go to for funding for those in Italy struggling from COVID-19. We have the Philadelphia Bailout Fund link on there. Lots of other great things for the Black Lives Matter movement. There's a really good site on there. It's a Black-owned business where you can do your grocery shopping, and I checked it out. The prices are really good. You should check that out. There's the It Gets Better LGBTQ project. There's the Philly virtual tip jar for restaurant workers who are out of work right now. There's so many great things on there that I'll be promoting throughout the night, but go ahead and check that event page or reach out and say, hey, can I have this link? And I'll send it to you. Thank you for being here for such good causes. The next person that I want to bring up, speaking of looking out for each other and just being awesome, I want to bring up our next friendly neighborhood performer. She is new to the lineup and her name is Sarah Jane. Hang on, Sarah Jane. Hi. This is Sarah Jane Sign. She is new to the lineup, but a pretty long time friend of mine now. She is an essential worker, and she's been out there since day one of the pandemic, putting her life on the line with a smile on her face, under a mask or not. Yes, under a mask. She is a bundle of smiles and sunshine and positive energy. And when she asked if she could do a short story, I was like, yeah, of course. I would love to have your energy up here on stage. She is here to swing on by and share a story. Oh, I'm sorry. I have like my food over here and I just got really excited that Sarah Jane was here. So she has a short story that she's going to share with us now. So everybody give it up for Sarah Jane. Woo! Take it away, Sarah Jane.
Hi everybody. Oh gosh, it's me. Okay, so I wrote this story as part of a larger work that I'm working on. And the larger work, the sort of too long didn't read plot of it is girl meets boy, boy turns out to be creepy murderer who shoots a rock star, girl goes on quest to find herself with the help of the ghost of the rock star that creepy hub shot. So that's all you really need to know. And this is basically like just kind of a shorter story that's going to eventually be part of the larger piece. The larger piece has the working title of Jenny Forbesley Falls in Love. The title of this like tiny little smaller piece is called Land of the Loved, and here it is. When I was little, I had a list of things that I wanted to do by the time I was 30. I started it when I was 8 or 9, curled up in bed, looking down at my notebook under a flashlight far past the time when my parents thought I was in bed. At the time, 30 seemed a lifetime away. I never shared them with anyone. I was too afraid. The girls at school were mean, and especially they were mean to me. I was 10 when they started calling me Jenny Craig instead of Jenny McAllister, so of course I didn't tell them then. I used to sit down in class and start to cry, so of course I didn't tell them then. When I was 20 years old and I got married to Drew Allen Forbesley, I showed him my list. It was our wedding night, and I handed it to him, shaking, hoping he would want to do some of the things with me. He seemed so down all the time, and there had to be something I could do. It would be like all the movies, when they look into the eyes of their one true love and decide they want to run off with them wherever that may lead. He looked it over for a long time and rubbed his face, starting at his forehead and down to his cheek and then his neck. Jenny, you gotta be kidding me. You aren't ever gonna do any of this stuff. Don't be so stupid. And then he laughed. Well, are you coming or not? The woman in the Greyhound uniform was looking at me as I clutched the ticket in my hand, all folded over and glossy. I bit my lip. I couldn't leave Drew all alone, waiting for me to come visit. This had to be a mistake. He needed me. He had been the only one to ever really need me, and now he was all alone. Here I was, running away from him. Why? Because I had gotten tired of taking orders from rude people about office supplies. My one strength had always been that I was nice. People would never say Jenny the smart one or Jenny the pretty one, but the thing people had always said about me was, oh, Jenny, she's nice. Shouldn't I go back? If I wasn't nice, if I ceased to be the old reliable, the Jenny to kick around, then what was I really? Come on, hurry it up, a woman behind me said, and I turned around. Before I could see who had spoken, another voice cut into the fray. Give her a second. There ain't that much of a rush, okay? I turned my head to see a tall African-American woman with braids and a yellow scarf looped over and across her neck, standing next to a thin, pale blonde girl. Are you okay? She asked me, and my response caught in my throat because, to be honest, I didn't know. I started. You don't travel much, do you? First time away from home, she said. Before I could answer, she said, well, listen, just take a seat with me and Bree here, and we'll show you how it's done. We'll make sure no one steals your shoes either. Spirit, the blonde girl exclaimed. Oh, and I'm Spirit, by the way. Did I mention that's Bree? She took the ticket out of my hand, ripped a third of it off, and pressed it in the palm of the driver before I had much to say about it one way or the other. We can grab a spot in the back. We're traveling cross-country before we start up graduate school. Well, grad school for me and medical school for her. Somehow my feet had made it up the narrow steps of the bus, and I was being guided to the back. I'm not sure, I started, then looked down at the remaining 2/3 of my laminated ticket dumbly. This bus is going to Chicago? Well, yeah, Bree said. Then we're going to New York City, center of the universe. We're going everywhere, Spirit explained as she sat in the window seat. Careful of that one, she said as I moved to sit in the aisle. You get hit with the bathroom door all the time. I sat in the row in front of them then, letting the tension flop out of me for a second before it hit me. And then it was as if I had been submerged into ice water. Chicago. That was where Drew had gone. That was where he had shot Pace McClellan. Pace had lived in Bismarck and he was only staying in Chicago. That's why I hadn't suspected. How had I been so dumb over and over again? This is the bus to Chicago, Illinois. If you're not going to Chicago, you're on the wrong bus, burst the voice of the bus driver from the front. Well, this was my last chance. I should get off the bus, go home, get ready for the next chance to visit Drew in prison for the next 10 to life, they had said. To be the dutiful little wife, to lock it all up and smile and do what I had to do, what God wanted me to do. The bus began to pull out of the parking lot, began to careen down the road. Maybe I should run to the front and demand, no wait, plead for her to stop the bus. And then Spirit poked me in the shoulder. If you're going to be hanging out with us, you're going to learn how to party like us. She opened her purse and pulled out a huge bottle of liquor. Hell yeah, Bree exclaimed. I started blinking wildly. I mean, I really appreciate it, but there's a lot about me that I haven't. Well, we have a few hours, don't we? Spirit said. Let's start with your name. What is it? Jenny Formsley, I blurted, then hesitated and corrected. Jenny McAllister. You're off to a good start then, Jenny McAllister.
Woo! Hey, give it up for Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane, thank you so much. Everybody give it up for Sarah Jane. Woo! You know, I think that's a really powerful story. And I think in our youth, we kind of all go through that stage of like, why can't I be the pretty one? Why can't I be the cool one? Why can't I be anything other than what I'm being called? And I think that's a really inspiring story of kind of, growing up and persevering through all that. And that's kind of like what we're all doing today. We're persevering through 2020. We're doing what we can out there. Speaking of youth, and as far as being an essential worker, being involved and doing what you can, there's some really good GoFundMe pages for at-risk youth on the event page. There's Protecting the Powerless, which all goes towards helping kids who are hungry and neglected. There's a wrestling program, which I'm going to mention later, that needs funding so that kids who are on the streets can get funding. And there are lots of really great links on there for our youth today. And Sarah Jane, thank you so much. That was so wonderful. And as I said, Sarah Jane's an essential worker. I'm seeing a lot of comments that are like, wash your hands, wear a mask, woo, definitely an important thing for essential workers and everybody to do, especially in a time where it's so compelling to get involved, to get with groups of people and fight back against racial injustice and everything that's going on in this world right now. And speaking of that, I know out there's people that just can't make it in person. They can't attend rallies and protests. And let me tell you that you are valid for what you're doing and you are okay. If you would like to get involved, there's a really great link on the event page that's called Beyond the Streets. Let me say that again. It's called Beyond the Streets. You can go on there and it gives you tips for getting involved when you can't attend rallies and protests in person. Anything that you're doing, even just being here tonight and being involved in all of this and loving each other and donating where you can, you're doing amazing. But if you'd like to get involved, if you want to find, if you need more pointers of getting involved, there's Beyond the Streets, and there's a few other links on there as well. So if you need any tips on that, feel free to reach out and I can help you out. Thank you so much. Big claps to Sarah Jane. Before I bring up our next performer, Molly, I don't know if I've cued you on there, Molly, but you're up next. I'm going to bring you up in just a second. I want to give some lot more animals involved tonight. This is great. I want to give a big shout out to Joe Chiodo, who is here watching. Hi, Joe. Dawn is here watching. The Morgan is watching. Josh Power. Hey, Josh. Good to see you. thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for watching. I'm loving the love. I'm feeling it. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. And again, if you're here and you're watching, shoot me a message, type in the chat, whatever you need to do, tell me you're here, and I'll give you a big shout out. All right. So enough of me. I'm going to bring up our next friendly neighborhood performer, and I'm going to bring you up, Molly, and I'm going to introduce you. Okay. This is Molly Bearden. Molly. So Molly is new to the Friendly Neighborhood Performers, actually new to our online open mics altogether, but she's not new to the music scene or the open mic scene. I actually met Molly at her very own punk house show. She is a wonderful, wonderful musician. I love her. I adore her. And she's an awesome friend. She's been such a great support. Like we talked about being friendly neighbors and being supportive of each other. She's been such a great support throughout this quarantine and throughout everything. And I just love her. And I'm so excited to have her tonight. This is Molly Bearden. She's going to do some songs for us. And while she's playing, I'm going to bring back up our dear beautiful artist, Nikki. And you guys take it away. Woo, give it up for Molly and Nikki.
Hello, Nikki. Looks like you got some good stuff going on there. So, I don't know about you guys, but I hate living in reality right now. It really sucks. And I prefer to live in the past, specifically the early 2000s. So I just think it was just it was a simpler time. Jeans were low. Hair was straight. None of that worked out for me, obviously. So I'm going to live vicariously through this song, and maybe I'll pretend that I'm in the year 2000. So, all right. I hope all of you know this song, and if you don't, unfollow me. Just kidding. Anyway. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight, yeah. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now, because my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe, when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign, hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby, the reason I breathe is you. Boy, you've got me blinded. Oh, pretty baby, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. It's not the way I planned it. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now, because my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know? Pretty baby, I shouldn't have let you go. I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Don't you know I still believe? Believe that you will be here and give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. My loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe, when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Anyway, yeah. Long live Britney. She's going through a hard time. I'm 3 White Claws in. I'm sorry.
So good. Molly, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Love you, Molly.
You guys are doing really well.
Thanks so much. Thanks for being here. You did amazing. Everybody give it up for Molly. Woo! Nikki, how we doing over there with your drawing? How we doing? Let's take a look.
It's really like I'm drawing shingles on a roof right now. Figure out which direction they go in. There's some horns happening up here. So it's going.
I love it. You're doing such a great job. It's so fun having you here. Oh, what a special
I'm enjoying it. I haven't touched this portrait in about a month, so I needed some musical accompaniment to get me going and actually finish drawing this for my friend.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Nikki, and thanks so much, Molly. Give it up for Nikki and Molly. Woo! You know, I think that's kind of what this is all about too. When I first started these open mics, I wanted an opportunity for performers who missed doing their craft, whatever it is, art, music, sharing their words, to have a chance to get up in front of people and share what they love again. And I love that that's happening tonight. Molly. So it's amazing. Britney Spears is such a big part of our open mic experiences. Like a while back, Elon Dari did a Britney Spears song on violin and kazoo. She keeps popping up and she's doing really great things. I'm really proud of her. She's doing great things. She's getting her voice out there and being an activist and being amazing. And speaking of getting your voice out there and taking part and doing what you can, check out the GoFundMe pages. Again, the Philadelphia Bailout Fund is on there. There's several funds for the Black Lives Matter movement, different ways that you can get involved, different ways that you can help all kinds of people. So please check out those event pages. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Shout outs. Let's see who tuned in. Alana tuned in to give her love to Molly while she was performing. Good to see you, Alana. Yeah. All right. And again, all these animals. It's amazing. I love it. So the next person that I want to bring up, you saw Ryan earlier, Ryan Neat, and the first online open mic that we did, Ryan and his father, Bruce, were both in the lineup at the same time, and it was amazing. Ryan had asked to be in the open mic, and then he said, "Hey, can my dad Bruce come too?" And I was like, "What? Yeah, this is amazing." So I'm glad to have them both back. And I want to bring back up to the stage our friendly neighborhood performer, Bruce Neat. Bruce, I'm going to introduce you a little bit, but I'm going to bring you up. Hi.
Hello. You hear me?
Hi. Okay.
Hi.
So yeah, good. I think we're echoing a little bit, but that's okay. We'll work through it. So Bruce,
difficulties all night.
yeah, it's okay. It's all right. You're here, and I'm so glad that you're here. Bruce is such a kind person and a golden soul. Really is. Just like the nicest person and so supportive. And I'm really glad to have him back again, swinging by to do some poetry for us. Yeah.
My pleasure.
So everybody give it up for Bruce.
Thank you.
All right, take it away, Bruce.
So I've written a lot of poetry during the pandemic, particularly back in April when I was writing a poem a day for 30 days. So I'll share a few of those and mix in a smattering of some other stuff. This first poem is a short poem. It's in a form called the Panku. I'm sorry, it's not the Panku, it's the Heinaku, which is kind of a cross between a haiku style form um, and a short sonnet, I guess you could call it. This is called The Man Who Went to the Supermarket During a Slow Apocalypse. Donning battle gear, wipes, gloves, mask, clusters of humanity, cart snaking past, standing 6 feet apart in queue, victuals on conveyor, cards swiped through. The only issue, no toilet tissue. And this next poem is called Go Bite the Bedbugs. And there's a little Yiddish in here. Pardon me if I mangle the language a little bit, but those of you who may or may not know Yiddish. Go bite the bedbugs. Our grandmother used to tuck us in and say, "Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bedbugs bite." It was a quirky little rhyme, one that didn't make a lot of sense to us. What's a bedbug? Then they made a comeback, popping up in unexpected places like luxury hotels, so we had to address them again, just like we're addressing an invisible bug today, 100 years after the last such bug killed so many in the world. I can thank my Jewish college friend for the gift of another quirky idiom, one that turns my grandmother's around. In Yiddish, it's "Geh Strasse de Wansen," literally, go threaten the bedbugs, meaning, I'm not afraid of you. Her booby actually translated it, go bite the bedbugs. Such a colorful reversal. It comes in handy today as I strap on a mask to enter this world that has so radically changed in these few months. I must take precautions, but I can't let the times dictate my fears. I want to use it like a mantra, shout it through the cloth in my face over and over so I actually believe it. Geh Strasse de Wansen. Geh Strasse de Wansen. This one is called April Calypse. A light spring rain falls on Sunday morning and the dandelions on my lawn. I am here not far from Independence Hall, where democracy shakes like a leaf, just as shaking hands is going out of style. Squirrels dart across deserted streets, and tornadoes, my childhood nightmare, rip through the South. This world can turn on a dime, a dirty dime like the one I found by the curb yesterday. From cornfields to tenements, rattling the husks in the window panes. Some have spray painted anarchy symbols and swastikas anonymously in the alley by the trash cans. Others boldly brandish them on protest signs. My wife and I watch the news looking for facts, while others eat up Pizzagate and the deep state, jumping into a chasm of disinformation. They fear Spanish and Chinese like I fear heights. I grew up in the pink split level, wear jeans like Springsteen, build a playhouse for my grandkids, and read them Goodnight Moon. Now I have a president who asks if we can inject disinfectant to kill the virus in us. I think of the film Idiocracy. Dear Mr. President, please sit down. You're not helping. Very truly yours, a citizen. I wish I could just fly away from here, mount a poetic Pegasus, and lift us both into the clouds. But solace will have to come from the real world, like the empty boulevard lined with cherry trees that bloom in the rain in my hometown. This one's called Carry On, and the first line becomes a refrain in subsequent stanzas, so you'll hear that line appear a few times in this short poem, different variations. Carry on. Keep calm and carry on, a British axiom. Stiff upper lip and all to help them soldier on. But how can we really keep calm and carry on when black necks are knelt upon, a woman shot in her sleep? Times have long since passed to be complacent. We can't keep calm and carry on this long racist legacy. We are all in the streets, peaceful but loud. We don't start fires. We try to keep calm and carry on. This one's called Deus Ex Machina. It's kind of how I felt at times during this current time that we're in. Something would just kind of carry me away from it all. But Deus Ex Machina. I want the gods descending on a crane to bear me up like in Greek tragedies, just when it seemed like all was lost and certain death or worse, dishonor, reared their ugly masks. I want majestic eagles to swoop down and lift me up securely in their talons, just like those in Middle Earth who rescued Sam and Frodo from the red slopes of Mount Doom. I want a billionaire someday to knock upon my door and say, my friend, there's way too much for me to spend myself, so take this cash to fix your roof and send your kids to school. I want to hit the lottery, an unknown aunt to die and leave me in her will. I want my dream job falling in my lap, a fast machine to take me out of here and land me in a tropic paradise, a margarita in my hand. I want a happy ending to my story no one would expect, that I didn't even have to earn. And finally, I'm going to kind of bookend the, oops. Sorry about that. Told you I was having technical difficulties. Here we are, we're back. This is another short haiku, and it's called PM. My day unravels like a sweater until your message makes it better. You send me a virtual hug. It sweeps despair beneath my rug. While we're apart, emoji red heart. Thank you.
All right, everybody give it up for Bruce. Woo! Give it up for Bruce Mead. You know, Bruce, you mentioned Yiddish. Every time you read your poetry for us, it makes me feel a little verklempt. Because you always make these really touching connections, and you kind of bring us all back to reality. Just what you had said of the Yiddish phrase for "I'm not afraid of you," and then slapping on your mask and doing what you have to do. It's beautiful. And then the whole idea of, you know, all of that, and then coming in for a virtual hug. So bringing up these ways that you can really, you know, get out there with your mask on, do what you're supposed to do, you know, face injustice and say, I'm not afraid of you. And then at the same rate, give a virtual hug from afar. I'm giving you a big, giant virtual hug, Bruce, and everybody here. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for persevering through your technical issues. You did amazing, and you sounded wonderful, and I'm so glad that you're here. Everybody give it up for Bruce. Woo! Bruce, thank you so much. So speaking of, you know, slapping on your mask and fighting back, there's some really great GoFundMe pages on the event page. There's a really good resource list, again, for those who might not be able to participate in person, or those who can put on a mask and go ahead out there and do what they need to do. Either way, you're valid, you're wonderful. Thank you for doing all that you do. But if you want to check out a really good resource list, it's called the National Resource List, #GeorgeFloyd. Check that out if you want some information of how to help out with Black Lives Matter movement and how to get your voice heard any way that you can. Thank you so much. Again, still doing shout outs. We're getting sort of towards the end of tonight, which always makes me a little verklempt as well. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I want to thank you guys for all being here and hanging out with us. Whether you're watching for the first time or performing for the first time, I'm loving having you here, and I'm seeing such beautiful stuff in the chat. Like, that was great. Claps, wash your hands. Yay, Bruce, awesome, Bruce, love you. There's so much love. I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. This is what I'm coming back for all this. So I want to bring up in a moment, I want to bring up our next friendly neighborhood performer. 1 second. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. All right. So our next friendly neighborhood performer is my dear friend, Jake Rogers. Hang on, Jake. Jake, he's swinging by for the first time to my open mics, but I've had the honor of actually performing alongside him at in-person open mics before. So it's a huge honor to have him here. Yeah, it's been fun. Jake is like me, he's an educator. And he's always talking about his kids as if they're his own, and it's wonderful, and he displays such an admirable amount of love and care for today's youth. And he's such an incredible musician, and I'm so happy to have him here. Give it up for the wonderful, the talented Jake Rogers. Woo!
What's up, everybody?
Hi. Oh, hey.
I love that you said Verklempt. My caffeine hands have kicked in.
Nice.
I drink a massive coffee at like 7:30.
Love it.
All right.
Massive coffee hands. It's great.
Yeah. Let me know if it sounds right. Kind of guitar.
I'm also going to bring Nikki back up to show
sweet.
progress on her art while Jake is playing. Love it. All right, guys, take it away, Jake and Nikki.
It's all improv, by the way. There's like some total randomness in Thanks, guys. Could you hear that? Like, I don't know how the quality was. You could? Thank you. Thank you, Brittany.
All right, woo! Give it up for Jake. Woo! All right, now we have Jake. That was amazing. Everyone is so. Oh, I'm sorry. What was I?
Oh, I just said thanks.
Of course. You've got a lot of really good shout outs. Very jazzy. Awesome, Jake. All right, Jake. Very cool. So, oh man. Everyone's super impressed that was all improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I
think
get happy when I play.
That's amazing. And that's what this is all about, is seeing people happy while they play. This is great. Now, so thank you so much. Thanks, Jake. Everybody clap for Jake. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Jake is an educator, and he is extraordinary in terms of mentorship and all of that. And I wanted to promote something that's on one of our GoFundMe pages, on the event page. It's called Beat the Streets. It's a program that I just found out about that promotes this program where it gets kids off the streets and into wrestling. It's like a wrestling program that they can be involved in. So if you're interested, everybody out there, if you're interested in supporting youth, or today's youth, you can help them by funding that program to get them into wrestling, which is super awesome. There's also Protecting the Powerless, which goes towards funding, making sure that kids who are hungry and neglected are eating and taken care of. And again, the Shriners Hospital that Jonathan Matos was a strong advocate for medical attention for kids. So thank you so much, Jake. Woo!
Thank you, guys.
Jake, I'm going to take you off the screen, but I'm going to leave Nikki on for a second. So as Jake was playing, Nikki was asking the audience out there for some ideas. As you can see, she's getting close to, she's making really good progress. This is amazing. Wow. Oops. This is amazing. She's making really good progress on her drawing, and she wanted some ideas for what to do with the background. So we have a cool warrior, and she's ready to fight this dragon. We have some ideas so far. If you're out there and you're watching and you have some ideas for Nikki, shoot them into the chat, or you can message me personally and let me know. So right now we have, Shira said she's a fan of your video background. And I did want to point that out too. There's a beautiful gay pride llama back there. So again, strong advocate for the LGBTQ community. It Gets Better project. Look out for your people. We had a request from Dan Torish. He said he wants to see something with space, like secondarily, or Mordor. So,
oh, cool.
Space, Mordor.
Space or Mordor. I'm going to write these down. Space, Mordor. I see a castle in the chat.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys a minute. If anybody tuning in, if you want to give an idea to Nikki for what she can do for her background, I'm totally cool with having you guys do that. This is awesome. We have
send you a photo when I'm all done.
Yeah, that would be great. I can put it up on the event page as well when it's finished, so everybody can see.
Absolutely.
All right. So while we're doing that, keep working on that. I'm going to keep you up here actually, because we have another musical performance. We're nearing the end of our open mic. We're getting to our last performer before I go on again. But I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you being here for our first open mic back. I was nervous, excited since the moment I thought of coming back. But you guys have been making it really wonderful. I really really great time. And thank you all for being here and being so lovely performers. I'm so proud of you. Towards the end, I think we're gonna try a little everybody hop on stage and do a little spontaneous thing. So look out for that, performers. But now what I'd like to do is I want to, oh, and again, if you're here, not too late for shout outs. So if you're here, give me a shout and I'll give you one back. But I want to introduce our last but not least performer. This is my dear friend, my dear family friend, Mr. David Levin. Dave, hang on. Hi. Dave is he's a repeat performer, our friendly neighborhood performer, swinging by again. He's a wonderful family friend. When we first came on and I said, guys, I need you to remind me every 5 seconds to breathe, Dave is like, breathe. And he's been typing in the chat, breathe. And I appreciate that.
Sure.
That's what this is all about. I'm super excited to have Dave back. He has a great big heart, and he's so full of enthusiasm. And the second that I communicate anything to the performers, he's there and he's like, I got you. And I really appreciate it. And he is going to come on up now and sing us some groovy tunes while our dear Nikki gets her color pencils out and works on her background. All right, take it away.
Great, thank you for continuing this in memory of Jonathan, who I saw once, and I felt like I knew him for years. He is deeply missed, and I think of him. This song is a love song, but it speaks to, the pandemic. It's called "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone," until it's gone. And I've had some tech issues, but let's try it. And it's going to be a really rough falsetto. And this lead singer, who can't sing anymore because he's shredded his voice, I think, but he has some raspiness too. So I'm going to do the best I can, but the effort will be there. All right, here we go. Can't tell you, baby, what went wrong. Can't make you feel what you felt so long ago. I let it show. Can't give you back what's been hurt. Heartaches come and go. All that's left are the words. I can't let it go. If we take some time, think it over, baby. Take some time, let me know if you really want to go. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Don't know what it is I did so wrong. Now I know what I got. It's just this song. And it ain't easy to get back, takes so long. Can't feel the things that cause you pain. I can't clear my heart of your love. It falls like rain. Ain't the same. Keep coming far away. Take soul. I just can't take another day. Who's to blame? If we take some time thinking over, baby. Take some time, let me know if you really want to go. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Don't know what it is I did so wrong. Now I know what I got. It's just this song. And it ain't easy to get back, takes so long. Do you want to see me begging, baby? Can't you give me just one more day? Can't you see my heart's been dragging lately? I've been looking for the words to say. Told you it's tough. Love the song, but can't do it that well. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Don't know what it is I did so wrong. Now I know what I've got, just this song. It ain't easy to get back, takes so long. No, don't know what you got till it's gone. Don't know what it is, it's so wrong. Now I know what I've got, it's just this time. It ain't easy to get back, takes so long. Thanks for listening, folks. Sorry, there's an ad because all YouTube's about is ads often. But anyway, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Brett.
Great job, Dave. Everybody give it up for Dave. Woo!
Thank you. It wasn't too much broken up between the song, the music.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You were really belting it. Oh my goodness. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it, Nikki. That's great. We watch this on YouTube so I can see what you're doing because the eyes are closed and I'm doing this and doing that and I'm dizzy. So thank you, Nikki. I have a cousin, Nikki, so I love the name Nikki.
Nice.
Woo!
Your song inspired some armor on our heroine here, so great. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
And I colored her armor while you were singing, so that was inspired by your song. You were a warrior, so was she.
Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. That's wonderful.
All right. Thanks so much, Dave. Dave, thanks so much. Really, really belted it. That was incredible. And no worries about anything technical, anything going on. You know, this is an online experience and all of the things that go along with it. But we're doing great. I'm just glad that we're all here and we're hanging out. So we're getting sort of towards the end. Nikki, how are you doing on your drawing there?
I'm doing pretty good. She has some armor There's a little bit of lipstick on my dragon, but that's fine. She's coming along.
All right. And if you don't finish it tonight, I would hope that we could bring you back again to see the progress on it next time. Awesome.
Absolutely.
But I was wondering if I could take you up on that offer to do your meditative piece.
Yeah, so what I want to share with you guys, it's interesting that you mentioned people who can't march. So for me, I am having mobility issues right now. I've got a condition, so I can't really walk, so I can't really march. I can walk a little, but I definitely can't march. So what I have been doing is, in addition to making phone calls, making donations, I have been expressing my support through art meditation. So classically, Justice is depicted as sort of a meek white woman. Her sword is down, her eyes are covered, and the scales are imbalanced. And in this case, Justice has been depicted by me as a very, very strong Black woman. She's thrown away the imbalanced scales that never worked for everyone in this country. Her sword is drawn, her eyes are open, and she's got some kick-ass combat boots on. So I thought maybe as a group, we could just take a couple of breaths together, bringing our intention toward those that are still protesting, even though they're not getting media attention, and knowing that our energy is with them and our thoughts are with them, that we bring them our support every way we can, even through our art. And if you'd like to join me in a collective breath, you're all muted on your own end, so you can make sound if you want to, and I will. I'll exhale out all my air. Take a full deep breath, and I will end with the sound of Om. Om. Thank you, everybody. A short meditation.
Thank you, Nikki. I was breathing right there with you. That felt really good. I think it's important. Thank you for that messaging. That was so empowering. Everyone says your art looks beautiful. And I think I really love that we have the ability to all come together and just breathe. It's such an important thing. Thank you for making that happen. I really appreciate you being here. Give it up for Nikki. Beautiful. So we're getting towards the last little bit of our performance. So before I leave you off tonight, again, I would love for you to check out all of the GoFundMe pages on the event page if you have any questions about what's on there. Again, they're all for COVID-19, children in need, the LGBTQ community, Black Lives Matter movement, and all kinds of resources for how you can engage and how you can fight back in any way that you can for what's going on right now and how you can just come together and love each other. We'll be bringing back these open mics every week until the world heals. So our next performance will be July 3rd, Friday at 9:30. Friday at 7:30. And if you're interested in being the lineup, reach out and I would love to have you either for next week or the weeks following. What I want to do now, though, is I'm going to read a poem and then I'm going to share some time with my performers here. So, speaking of peace and hope, and Ryan had alluded to the Beatles earlier, I wanted to share with you this poem that I wrote when I was thinking about the idea of putting your mask on and getting out there and in hopes for a better, cleaner, healthier world. And kind of thinking about what that looks like now and what that can look like later. And so I wrote this short poem, and it's called George Harrison Was Right. Those of you who aren't familiar with the Beatles, George Harrison wrote the song Here Comes the Sun, and this is what I wrote. for that. Okay, so this is called George Harrison Was Right. Smiles returning to their faces that can't be seen behind these masks. Maybe there's even a few traces of hope as we complete daily tasks. As we walk on the streets day and night, I start to think George Harrison was right. That maybe once again, we can put down our guns, we can all look up at the sky and say, here comes the sun. Thank you. All right. So now what I want to do is I couldn't be here tonight at all without my wonderful performers. And I want to thank you all for being here and being so wonderful and, making your friendly neighborhood performers a thing. And I want to have you guys come up and take a bow. Let me just see. Let me make sure we can do this. I might have to thank Sarah Jane. I want to bring you up. I'll have you come up one by one to take a bow. And then I'll see how many people I can fit up on stage that we can all kind of jam out together. All right, so bear with me with this, guys. So the first person that I want to bring up to come up and take a bow is my dear Kyle Nelson. Woo! Thank you, Kyle. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And special mention to Ryan Needs. Woo! Give it up for Ryan. Woo! Thanks for being here, Ryan. He had to step out, but he did a wonderful job. So grateful to have had him. Yay! All right. Now I'm going to bring up Sundari. Take a bow, Sundari. Woo! Yay! All right, and bringing up dear Sarah Jane, take a bow. Woo! All right, and Molly, give it up for Molly. Woo! All right, thanks for being here, Molly. Woo! All right, bringing up Mr. Bruce Neat. Bruce, come up, take a bow. All right. Bruce, thanks for being here. Bringing up Jake Rogers. Take a bow.
I got a special guest for you.
Oh, who is this? Hello.
He bows too.
Hello. Oh, that's lovely. This is great and small, taking bows. I love it. Wonderful. Thanks, Jake. Woo! All right. Bringing up again, Dave Levin. Take a bow. Woo!
Thank you so much. It was terrible.
Oh, you did great. You did great.
Oh, in and out.
Pat on the back. All right. Woo! All right. And I will take a bow. Woo! Yay! It was really great to have you guys here. So I'm going to throw you guys on stage. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to take
Hey guys.
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
Great, Nikki.
Thanks, man. Sarah,
All
do you
right.
want to hear the rest of the
It's time to kick out the jams.
Sundari, I'm gonna call you when my cats won't sleep. You calmed the savage beast.
Okay, Jake, you got your guitar plugged in? Turn that sucker on. It's time to end this correctly. Make this even blow with the roof off. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. You on, Jake? I think he hit on his thing. All right, Plan D. Dancing cat. Oh.
Totally didn't hear any of that. Again, give it up for my wonderful, amazing, improvisational, animalistic, wonderful, kind-hearted, amazing, beautiful, your friendly neighborhood performers! Woo! All right, thank you guys so much. Tune in next week for some more fun. Thank you all for being here. Again, check out the GoFundMe page and all the GoFundMe pages, and we'll see you next week. Bye!